We're going to bring in Tracy Walder now, national security contributor at NewsNation and former CIA officer and FBI special agent. Tracy, thanks so much for joining us on this.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
So we just heard this incredibly emotional story from Justin Rayford, his partner paralyzed in Mexico, and so many obstacles they seem to face here. Not only the trouble getting an ambulance called in the first place, being asked to pay $5,000 to even move from the ambulance to the hospital, the surgery delayed, extortion. He also talks about unsanitary conditions we didn't even have a chance to get into. Tell us what the takeaways are. What are Americans' rights when you do have a medical emergency in a foreign country and something like this happens?
So the first thing I want to do is I want to be as sensitive as possible because obviously these are two people that went through something horrifically emotional and horrible. And I don't doubt that any of it happened, but this isn't extortion. This isn't bribery. This is how Mexico does business, particularly with individuals who are not Mexican citizens. Mexico has a nationalized healthcare system. So for those who can prove Mexican residency, healthcare is for the most part free at the government hospitals. However, there are private hospitals, and those private hospitals, the way that they do business is they do ask for payment up front before they will begin medical care. That is what they do. Whether that's ethical or not, obviously, is a whole nother issue, but they do things differently here in the United States. So to have that same expectation, it is incorrect. And it may seem like bribery and it may seem like extortion and it may feel like that to us because it indeed is. But that is unfortunately how things are done there. That's what they ask for before surgeries and before you're admitted.
I really appreciate you making that clarification. What is your best advice to anyone who suffers a crisis like this? If they are traveling in a foreign country, what should one do? Because it sounds like he tried to do everything right here.
Well, I think the first thing we need to think about is Tulum itself actually is under exercise extreme caution to travel to. They are having heavy cartel influence there as well as bribery and extortion. So I think checking that first is really critical. I think the second thing that we need to do is download the SOS app. That app allows you to call emergency services or the equivalent of 911 in that country so that way you can bypass what happened at the hotel, which is horrific. They should have called emergency services right away. There's no doubt about that. But having that app gives a little bit of that power back to you, if you will. Also, familiarizing yourself, what will happen? You may have international health insurance, but not everyone has to take that. So having an understanding of how they work, if they accept cash, if they accept credit cards, what is the medical care system like in that country?
All right, Tracy Walder, always appreciate the perspective and time. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.